Hey guys, it's Morgan coming back to you with another weekly Shlog here at Highland Cycles in Western Colorado. If you're new here, consider sticking around to the end of this video. We're going to show you a bunch of cool dirt bike stuff. This is our weekly shop vlog or Shlog, where we do all kinds of things from rebuilding KX motors, modifying KTMs, diagnosing weird stuff. We even got a snow bike in the house right now. Got a blown up 300, new 300 over there. Anyway, it's pretty cool here, I think. All you guys that have been here a long time, let these people know. Comment below. Say, yeah, this is the best channel ever for dirt bikes. And yeah, let's get going. All right, guys, if you watched last week's Shlog, you saw that I had the bottom end of the KX back together. If you also watched it, you know that I was kind of struggling with the whole neutral thing and binding up. Well, I'm happy to say that once I actually got it all together, it's free and moving just fine. So it makes me happy because I was definitely still a little bit worried because that was weird. I mean, I so many times checked to make sure everything was there, everything was in the right place, everything, and it was from the get-go, but there must be something funky about Kawasaki. Oh, you know what it actually could have been? Guys, here's a thing. Here's a thing that it actually might have been, and this would be interesting. Maybe some of you guys can comment below if you know. But now that I think about it, the one thing that changed by putting the clutch and everything together was I bolted the clutch to it, and I'm wondering if that pulled that shaft, the main shaft, this way just a little bit, that freed everything up because it moves way better than it ever did. So anyway, that's cool. I bet that's what it was. I bet the fact that I didn't have the clutch hub bolted to that thing against the spacer and anyway, all that stuff, my guess is that's what did it. It changed that geometry just the slightest bit in making it move. So anyway, now we're rebuilding the head. I just want to show you guys, I'm not going to go super in-depth on building the head, but I do want to show you why we're replacing valves. All right, guys, I have already done one intake valve. I want you to take a look here so you can see, let me see if I can, there we go. You can see how recessed this valve is into the head and how this one has that nice rim around it. They're supposed to look like that because they're supposed to, so anyway, they're supposed to look like that, not all sunk into the head like this. And the reason they sink into the head is because, let's see if I can get this thing, there we go. See how that valve face is cupped? This is the one that came out. What happens is these are titanium valves. There's a coating on here. When that coating gets worn off, usually because of poor air filter maintenance, because sand and grit gets in there and causes it to wear. When that happens, it starts to suck up into the head, reducing clearance. And I'll show you what the new intake valve looks like from the outside. Focus. There you go. So you can see how different that face looks. It's nice and flat. Now, we are not cutting the seats on these. They just don't want to spend the money. This bike is going to get sold. It will be just fine. I've checked the seat. Well, I checked the one seat. I guess I don't really know. If I find one of these seats that's super damaged, we're going to have to do it. But I've checked that one. And normally I'd pull them all out and look at them, but I wanted to show you guys what they look like side by side. I'll show you again kind of real fast. You can get a look at the difference. There we go. So more for educational purposes than anything, but this thing's gonna be just fine. It's gonna run just fine. They just want it sold and out. They're just done with it. And obviously we're gonna tell the new buyers that, yeah, we just did the top end and all the stuff, but the valve seats weren't cut and all that stuff. The key to selling a used bike, especially if it's one like this, you just like want out of it and you're just done, is to just be really honest, because obviously you're not going to get that as much money for it as if it were perfect, but the people you sell it to aren't going to come back and yell at you if there's something wrong or whatever, or it doesn't last as long as they'd hoped, and everybody's on the same page. So normally I would rather like get this thing sent out, cut the seats, make it perfect, but the reality is it's a KX250F. and they're seriously terrible bikes. All right, guys, so we got the valves all built, everything's in. Now we're just checking tolerances or clearances. So the exhausts are good. They actually didn't even need to change shims because they were actually in pretty good shape. We replaced them because we were replacing everything, but honestly, the valve faces look good. The valve seats looked great. Now we are trying to get between 4 and 6 thousandths on the intake. The first time through, we were not there. So that's 5. Won't go. See if we can make 4. No. I think there's a 3 in here. It's got a 2, so let's see if we can get even a 2. So the 2 goes on both. Now, see if 3. So it's somewhere between 2 and 3 thousandths. So that's cool. Now we're gonna go, these are 255 shims, 2.55 millimeters. So now we're gonna take this out and we're gonna go down 2 shim sizes. We're gonna go down to 245s. That should put it just a tiny bit on the loose side, which is where I like to set them, especially when everything's brand new. And the nice thing about doing this on the bench, guys, is that you don't have to do it in the frame, around all that stuff. It's just so much easier to deal with. And what I'm doing is just one on either side of the cam. I'm just buzzing it down with that. Just enough to make sure that it's tight. I'm not getting the torque wrench out or any of that stuff. No need. So let's see. Four goes. 5, a little bit of drag. Oh, wait. All right, good. So 5 goes with a little drag in both of them. So we're good to go. Now, we can put the piston on the rod, put the cylinder on the piston, get the head on this sucker, and we can have this thing running here relatively soon. Quick little note about Kawasaki's, guys. I want to show you something. I got to learn the hard way, so I figure I'll hopefully show you guys so you don't have to. Well, this is being a pain, but that's the whole point of exercise. Oh yeah. This right here, there's an O-ring that goes here. Now I've got a new one, which is what this is, but do not forget that, otherwise oil leaks down into the spark plug hole and then it comes out that we pull and people wonder what the heck you did wrong to their motorcycle. It's a relatively simple fix, but it doesn't look good. Again, don't ask me how I know, but I've learned that lesson. So, all right, now let's start putting this thing back together. All right, guys, we got the KX all back together. She's looking pretty over here. Richie's having fun on a snow bike because they're just a ton of fun to work on in a dry shop when you can't move them around. At least we have the furniture refrigerator dolly, because seriously, they suck to deal with, like in a shop. So let's check this thing out. Haha, there we go. I didn't even pull the cold start. Let's see. There we go. Fires right up. Runs good. Super happy with how that turned out. The whole worried about the binding and neutral thing is completely not a problem. It was definitely 100% had to do with the fact that that clutch, bolting that clutch hub on, helped pull that thing tight and get it in the right spot. So really happy about that. Now I am going to blow some dents out of a pipe, which you guys have seen 1,000 times before. I'll probably do the time lapse just because it's cool to watch. But it's on this pro circuit. Hardly even dents, but in our off-road world. But gonna get those things out here. All right, guys, 80 PSI map gas. All right, guys, next on the lift is this Husaberg 300, which is the same as a KTM 300 XCW, except it came with nicer forks. The XCW came with the open chambers back then. This is a 13. And this came with the closed chambers with the little bladder, kind of like the Del Saggio kit. So a little bit nicer forks. Otherwise, it's identical. Obviously, plastic's different, but that doesn't count. So this bike is owned by the Arkansas assassin, one Lane Smith, and his kid was riding it. And all of a sudden, it puked a whole bunch of tranny oil out of the exhaust. So we're pretty sure we got a right side main seal leak, which is over here. But we got to figure out why. Lots of reasons it could happen. Could just be bad. Could be a bad crank bearing. Could be lots of things. Also, there is a tranny breather on this. You got to make sure that is still free and open and breathing well, because if those get clogged, it'll blow it out too. So we're going to start by taking the seat and tank and everything off, so we get a little bit clearer view in here. Then we're going to drain the oil, take the big clutch cover off, take the ignition cover off, because we're also going to do the left side seal, because if the right side seal leaks, especially if it's just a time thing, it's just old or whatever, you definitely want to do the left, because when the right one leaks, it sucks oil, makes a mess, maybe it doesn't run good, maybe fouls a plug, not that big a deal. If the left one leaks, usually the bike runs really good for a little bit, and then it seizes the crank. So yeah, let's get after it. Guys, that is also a good indicator that it was sucking oil out, because this milky stuff was here already. That's all the oil that came out of the transmission. So it definitely sucked a whole bunch of oil into the engine. So let's, like I said, let's get the seat and tank off and take a look and see if we can find, I'm not sure exactly where the breather is on this. Sometimes it's this funky tiny little hole. I can't remember on these older bikes. All right, guys, some of you guys probably already knew this. And I probably should have, although on my bike, my new bike, it has a separate crankcase breather and then also a power valve breather, but the power valve breather is the crankcase breather on these bikes, this era of KTM, which makes sense because the power valve breather is right here, goes into the thing, you know, into the cylinder here, but that breathes the power valve, which also is open to the transmission. So that totally makes sense. Now let's do a little investigative work. So normally it comes up and goes into this, or actually I think maybe the overflow hose goes, anyway, it usually goes into the frame here. So this one goes up and over to this side of the frame. Right there. So now I'm going to pop this loose, pull it over there and blow through it, make sure that it's free.
So that thing fires up right away now, the snow bike, I'm guessing?
Oh yeah. All right, so it blows through free. So that seems like that's okay. Probably not building pressure there. Let's pull the clutch cover off and take a look. All right, guys, I found the problem. That seal is right there. It definitely blew right out. So it would have definitely sucked all the transmission oil in there and blown it right out the exhaust. So now I'm going to put you guys down and turn you guys off here for a second while I take this clutch off. It's got an old school Recluse with, I mean, it's still the EXP style, but it's got the old style adjustment. I guess it was working. He didn't mention anything about that, so I'm going to leave the adjustment where it is. But I got to take the clutch off. Excuse me. I got to take the clutch off so I can get the gear off and then put a new seal in. And I think there's an O-ring in there too. And hopefully figure out exactly why it did that. It shouldn't have done that. I don't know. I don't know. Because again, this is clear up here, so it should be breathing well enough out of there. Unless it built so much pressure in the motor that blew it out. I don't know. We'll dig in deeper, so stick with us. All right, guys, so it turns out it's way worse than just a seal. It's that's the bearing race and pieces. We got some right there. There's more. So it's junk. Cases need to come apart. I need to clean out whatever went inside there. Need to figure out if the cylinder is all good and whatever. They didn't mention anything about it not running good, so hopefully the top end is okay. Hopefully that, yeah, I don't know how it wouldn't have at least sent some of that stuff in there and chewed up things, but maybe not. Maybe we got lucky. Maybe went out the exhaust. I don't know. But yeah, there we go, guys. It's always something new and exciting here at Highland Cycles. And by the way, if you like stuff like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. This is what we do. We dig in, we find crazy cool problems like this. We also go dirt biking, we ride the Baja 1000, we crash at the Baja 1000. We modify things, we review things, all that good stuff. Also, I have to take a quick second here to thank the biggest sponsor of the channel, Rocky Mountain ATV MC. There's a link in the description, guys. If you need to purchase anything from them, if you cannot find it locally or you don't want to find it locally because maybe you're not a big fan or whatever, use Rocky Mountain ATV. You can buy OEM parts, you can buy made in the USA parts, you can buy Chinese parts, you can buy every kind of part you can imagine. They usually have them in stock. They usually get them to you really fast. You can earn Rocky Mountain bucks, you can get free ship, all that good stuff, guys. It's really cool. They're a big supporter. Massive, massive thank you. Also, huge thank you to Onyx. Another link in the description for that. You can save 20% if you use our link to sign up for Onyx, Elite membership or the normal membership. Either way, yeah, let's get on to the next job. All right, as you can see, we got the motor out of the frame. Let's take a look at what we got here, guys. Cylinder off, and this is bad news for the cylinder. Let's see, I think you can see that. Yeah, there you go. You can see the wear through the nickel sill there. It's got some other scratches. Then if we take a look at our crankshaft here, it rolls nice and smooth, and it doesn't have any play up and down, but you can see right there, you can see that's rust. That's no good. And then if we twist it, you can see that movement right there, that twist. That's no good. Like side to side play, like they call this axial play that goes, well, this is not even moving side to side like it's supposed to. It's twisting. Anyway, it's junk. Needs to be rebuilt. So that thing is going to come apart. We're going to send the crank out to Crankworks. We're going to send the cylinder out to Millennium. We got to clean it a lot. It's crazy because like this bike was super clean when it came in from the outside, but super not clean on the motor. But that is just the way things are. A lot of you guys are like, I can't believe you work on a dirty. Dude, the bike looked cleaner than crap. I mean, not perfect, but it looked good. You just, when you get in there, you see that really, realistically, it's pretty hard to get a lot of this stuff clean. So anyway, can take this thing apart. I'm gonna parts list together, get some deposit money from Lane, and we'll rebuild this sucker and make it like brand new. All right, guys, next job is taking apart this cylinder and cleaning it up to send it to Millennium. I'm not gonna do that in depth here. I'm going to do an in-depth video of it, just specifically showing you how to prep a cylinder to send to Millennium or any replating company. So make sure you subscribe to the channel because you'll be able to find that video up here. It's probably gonna come out actually before this video, so you may have already seen it. I don't know. It's weird making YouTube videos and talking about other videos because yeah, it's like talking up into the future and back in time. Anyway, so yeah, that's the next job. I'm gonna do that. And then I think I'm gonna start a big series on refreshing Loretta and getting her ready for the next season, since I can't ride it right now because my injuries and also it's cold and snowy. Yeah, we're gonna do a big refresh on that. We got plastics, all things. So I'm gonna start that series too today. So again, make sure you subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, guys, so last thing on the lift for the week was this 250XC actually. Sorry I didn't film it. It was no big deal. I just added some fork bleeders to it because it had the Motion Pro ones that leak terribly. So we put the System Tech Racing ones on, which are awesome and don't leak. Just so you know, John, thank you very much. He's in Pagosa Springs, Colorado, who makes those. And the other thing that we had was an interesting situation. We built this suspension for him. It's obviously, it's TBT. It's been great. We serviced it not long ago, and it was working fine, but he noticed some leakage right here. This is a bladder style thing instead of the piston, and this is from CSR. We got the can from, and it was leaking a little bit, so I took it off, and like I said, sorry I didn't film it, but I took it off, and I put nitrogen in it, and sure enough, it was leaking, weeping, and I took it back apart, and I think I'm the one that serviced this. So I took it off, and the cap that goes into the bladder that then goes into the can, it had grease on it, but not much, and it was leaking there. It was like anyway, so I re-greased it, put it all back together, re-bled it, and it's fine. So not sure what happened there. It's either my fault or we're going to find something later. Let's see, I'm going to do it again. So I already called Aaron. He's a good friend. I told him, hey, man, I found this. I'm hoping it was my fault, because if it was my fault, then there's no issue. If it's something wrong inherently in the system, then we're going to have to replace that can. But I don't think so. I think either I didn't get enough grease on it or something. I don't know. I make mistakes just like everybody else. So, but we got her dialed in, and he's ready to rock and roll. So, guys, that's the end of the week, the end of the Shlog. I love you so much. Make sure you consider using our Onyx link below if you want to sign up for Onyx. The Elite membership is really cool because it's all the off-road stuff, and it gives you the private land boundaries, and you get discounts on a lot of stuff. So I like the private land part because as a hunter also and dirt biker, it allows me to see where private land is when we go hunting. So I just have one app. I don't have to get the Onyx Hunt also. I actually do have it. I already bought it. But this gives me private land for the whole United States. So it's actually super, super cool. Again, make sure you stay tuned and subscribe, because this thing's going to be coming apart all the way down to the frame. I don't think I'm going to take the motor out, but I'm going to take it all the way down. We got a whole bunch of new parts to put back on it, get it ready for the season, get it ready to rock and roll, and be race ready for the coming season. I'll show you what we do. Lots of things, greasing steering head, greasing linkage, anyway, lots of stuff going on with that. So make sure you subscribe, guys. I love you. Thank you for sticking around. Punk Rock Club, you guys are my favorite. You know that. Yeah, I hope you get out and spread the gospel of two wheels, and I desperately hope that what we're doing here is inspiring you guys to work on, but more importantly, get out and ride your dirt bikes!